TV. You're watching Coin TV, Channel 6. This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
And this is a special Western edition. Good evening. A powerful earthquake struck central Japan tonight. Scores of casualties are reported, including what is believed to be many dead. The quake collapsed buildings and a major roadway in the port city of Kobe and set off fires in the rubble. The quake measured 7.2 on the Richter scale. It was centered under Japan's inland sea near Kobe, but it was felt all the way across the country. Correspondent Bruce Dunning has the latest from Tokyo.
The earthquake struck the densely populated central Japan region just before dawn. Hardest hit was the port city of Kobe. Roaring fires broke out throughout the city. Buildings collapsed, walls slipped into the street. Hundreds of people are believed buried in the rubble throughout the quake-devastated area. The fatality rate is expected to rise as rescue crews probe the collapsed buildings. One section of the elevated highway between Kobe and Osaka fell over on its side. Its pillars snapped like toothpicks. But it wasn't the only highway to fall. Several others collapsed, sending cars and trucks plunging. The quake was centered under Awaji Island, just south of Kobe and Osaka, but it was felt all across central Japan. An American guest at a hotel described the sensation.
I saw everything shaking in all directions. My bed moved from from the wall into the center of the room, and all the furniture went topsy-turvy. And all around you see the damages, windows are all broken. It's unbelievable what you see.
Trains were thrown from the rails by the force of the quake, and all rail service in the area stopped. The only good news was that the quake hit early in the morning before most people were in the high-rise buildings or traveling on trains and highways. As bad as the fatality rate may turn out to be, it could have been much worse had the quake struck at rush hour. Bruce Dunning, CBS News, Tokyo.
An emotional scene today in a South Carolina courtroom. A prosecutor told the story of a mother drowning her two young children. The mother, Susan Smith, listened and sobbed. Then, as correspondent Randall Pinkston reports, the lawyer for the people called for the most severe penalty possible.
The state intends to seek the death penalty.
Today, Susan Smith learned why the state wants capital punishment if she is convicted of murdering her sons. Because of what's called aggravating circumstances. Two people killed by one act, both victims children under age 11. Smith was visibly shaken at the arraignment when charges were read recounting the drowning of 3-year-old Michael and 14-month-old Alex.
Willfully and with malice aforethought, killed one Alexander Tyler Smith by means of drowning.
In an unusual move, her attorney refused to enter a plea, so the court entered one for Smith, not guilty. Her lawyer also refused to discuss a possible insanity defense, but her mental state is almost certain to be an issue at the trial. Today, her attorney revealed that Smith has been prescribed antipsychotic medication.
She is lost in an ocean of grief and guilt, and there is no relief. When she falls asleep, she has nightmares about her children in the water.
Susan Smith's family says she doesn't feel she had control over her actions.
Me and all of my family love Michael and Alex. We miss them, and we miss Susan. And we can't bear the thought of losing her, too.
Residents visiting the lake where the little boys died today reflected on a tragedy that they can't lay to rest.
With the death penalty subject coming out, it just brings back up old memories that we had almost put to rest, you know.
I think that she should have to watch videos of those kids day and night.
The prosecutor says Susan Smith's estranged husband, David, supports the call for the death penalty. The trial is scheduled to begin April 24th. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, Union, South Carolina.
It's about the last thing O.J. Simpson needs right now, a feud between his lawyers. But just 3 days before opening statements in his murder trial, Robert Shapiro and F. Lee Bailey are barely speaking. Shapiro reportedly believes Bailey leaked stories that question Shapiro's legal skills. Today, in an apparent reference to Bailey, Shapiro is quoted as saying, "We can't have snakes in bed trying to sleep with us." Americans are marking the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today on the holiday honoring his dream and his deeds. It's been almost 3 decades since Dr. King's assassination. and the civil rights struggle he led in the 1960s is still being fought today on other fronts. Correspondent Richard Threlkeld has the dream and the reality in 1995.
Even as they were celebrating Dr. King's birthday today in Atlanta, there's a feud going on between the King family, which wants to build a commercial theme park around his boyhood home, and the National Park Service, which wants a traditional museum. Even in memory, Martin Luther King remains as controversial as the civil rights struggle he led, with a simple dream.
Little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Some of that dream has come true for black Americans. Equality in the voting booth. There are now more than 8,000 black elected officials nationwide. There's a thriving black middle class now. Black unemployment's the lowest in 2 decades. So the civil rights struggle is different.
A number of years ago, we were talking about the right to ride on the front of the bus, the right to eat at a lunch counter. Now the issue is whether one can own the bus company or whether one can afford the rising price of a shrinking hamburger.
And what to do about the 1/3 of blacks who remain left out of Dr. King's dream, mired in an underclass culture of crime and drugs and broken homes. Civil rights laws don't cover that.
Governments have a right to protect, but I don't know if governments can legislate behavior. That has to start at home.
As President Clinton noted in Denver today, the nation's troubles are no longer just black or white, but all-American, in need of all-American solutions.
Until we face the fact that we are going up or down together, and we better get after the business of working together to make the most of all of our potential, we will never be what we ought to be as a country.
Or as Martin Luther King used to preach, black and white together. Richard Threlkeld, CBS News, New York.
Affirmative action programs to fight job discrimination under attack. That story coming up on Eye on America. Also ahead, expanded airport searches and extra delays. Terror alert on flights from Asia to the U.S. And a deadly mystery from the sky. What's killing the eagles in Arkansas?
Ah, the joys of a minivan. That big sliding door, the heavy removable third seat, and those rear windows that don't roll down. Oh, what could be better? Introducing Odyssey. With 4 doors and an easy fold-away rear seat. It's not just a minivan, it's a Honda.
Finally, I was soloist instead of my sister Patty. What a time for a cough. Patty gave me Robitussin cough drops. They worked fast in those vapors. Thanks to Robitussin, I made my sister proud.
Robitussin, cough drops from the cough experts.
When I get a cold, I need a strong medication. My husband's a doctor and can give me anything, but he recommends Dimetap Extend tabs. Dimetap controls my sneezing and nasal congestion. It's strong medicine.
For colds, doctors recommend Dimetap.
Pope John Paul is in the South Pacific tonight, getting another tumultuous welcome. Tens of thousands greeted the Pope in Papua New Guinea, the second stop on his 4-nation tour. Unperturbed by rumors of plots to kill him, the pontiff rode this time in an open pickup truck with only a canopy to shield him from the sun. U.S. airlines are taking drastic steps to deal with a bomb threat in connection with the Pope's tour. This follows reports that Muslim extremists were planning to protest his trip to Asia by blowing up an American plane. Correspondent Bob Orr has the latest.
The FAA today widened its security alert, prompted by bomb threats against flights from Asia to the United States. CBS News has learned that body searches of passengers, which began yesterday at 7 major East Asian airports, now have been ordered at Jakarta, Beijing, Osaka, and 24 other airports, covering virtually all of the Asian-Pacific region. The FAA is also confiscating all carry-on liquids, gels, and aerosols over 1 ounce to guard against hard-to-detect liquid explosives.
It can be disguised as perfume, as liquor, as anything liquid you'd carry in a bottle. If they sanitize the bottle properly, there will be no odor, and the X-ray machine will simply see a bottle of liquid.
The threat was uncovered when Philippine police arrested 2 Muslim extremists in this Manila apartment building and seized bomb-making equipment and U.S. airline schedules. The FAA responded quickly.
They say that all flights for the U.S. are to be suspended unless these requirements are met.
In Manila today, passengers waited in long lines to get through security, and many U.S.-bound flights arrived hours late.
And they were checking everybody's bodies, shoes, yeah, everything. They opened everything, even my purse.
Authorities are also investigating whether a mid-air bombing which killed a passenger aboard a Philippines jetliner last month is connected.
It could have been a probe. It could have been some test to see how good security was.
The FAA today extended the security measures to also cover foreign air carriers flying to the United States from Asia. And the agency has dispatched extra personnel, including bomb experts, to enforce the crackdown. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
Strange, this weather we're having here in the United States. Storm after storm in the west, and here in the Northeast, it's the winter that wasn't. We asked correspondent John Blackstone, what's going on here?
What a winter. Californians have been soaked by rain that should be falling in the Pacific Northwest. Well, New Yorkers are wearing shorts in the middle of winter, thanks to weather that really belongs in Florida.
It's beautiful. You'd never believe it was January in a million years. It's great.
If the warning signs in Central Park seem a little out of place this year, it's really the weather that's been out of place. It's all the result of a wayward jet stream. This winter, the ridge of high pressure that Californians call the storm door, because it sometimes lets in rain, has opened wide. By pushing the jet stream far north along the Atlantic coast, that high-pressure ridge is letting the unseasonably warm air flow up from the south into the northeast.
This past year has been a record year. The temperatures are really much warmer than we've seen on a global basis before.
Some believe global warming is finally catching up with us, but the Pacific current known as El Nino is getting most of the blame for this winter's strange weather. In Vermont, the ski season has melted away.
Sure is nice. I'm wearing my short sleeves.
At 60 degrees today in Watertown, New York, it was 100 degrees warmer than exactly 1 year ago. And San Francisco has just had 17 straight days of rain, the city's longest rainy stretch ever. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
Please have one. You should try these. You really should.
Some things are too good to keep to yourself. Like Quaker rice cakes.
Hey, it tastes good. It's sweet. I like it.
I love that caramel one. Caramel? I'm in trouble.
Whoa, major crunch going on here. Try it. Try any one of the flavors.
So if you feel like you're snacking.
Fat, 0 grams. 0.
Fat-free Quaker rice cakes. Some things are too good to keep to yourself.
They're very good.
Imagine a rent-a-car company that will pick you up right at your door. That's Enterprise. Call us. We'll arrange to come to you. Take you back to our office, and you're on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
The most beautiful hamlet on earth is coming.
It's like incredible. I was just blown over.
Total rejuvenation is coming.
A gift from the captain.
A new friendship is coming.
Fishing and just look at each other and bust up laughing.
A discovery is coming.
Jump like a frog. I wish I could do that.
Perfection is coming. You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
When the food you love doesn't love you back, try new Maalox assorted tablets. 3 tasty flavors in one handy bottle. Maalox assorted tablets. Ah, life is good.
Earthquake terror in L.A. It was a year ago that their house collapsed, and so did their lives.
And every day there's also always going to be a dark spot where we miss Amy.
But out of their tragedy came a miracle. Meet him on Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
10 days ago, President Clinton wrote to Boris Yeltsin calling on him to avoid civilian casualties in the Russian assault on Chechnya. There's still no word of a response to that letter. But Yeltsin has now invited Mr. Clinton to a Moscow summit conference in May. The White House says no decision has been made on whether to accept.
The invitation comes as Russian forces are escalating their air war against the Muslim rebels. Helicopter gunships went into action today, along with planes and artillery, pulverizing the ruins of the capital city's center. Still, on the ground, the Russians have failed to capture key rebel positions, and the army is taking heavy losses in men and materiel and to its once fearsome image. Correspondent Tom Fenton has the story.
In a campaign that has lasted more than a month, an overwhelming Russian force has failed to subdue a few thousand gun-toting Chechens. Heavy Russian losses have shocked the public and humiliated and angered the army. Nobody needs this war, says this soldier. Nobody wants it. So whatever happened to the great Soviet military machine, once respected and feared around the globe? That old Soviet army can now be found only in the museum. This war has revealed the new Russian army for what it really is. Its commanders are incompetent, its officers no longer follow orders, its men are poorly trained and demoralized. A crippled Russian armored vehicle captured by the Chechens had almost as much vodka on board as it did ammunition. One general refused to advance on Grozny or use his tanks against civilians. Another Russian unit simply packed up and went home when their commander could not explain why they were in Chechnya. Since the collapse of communism, the Russian army can't even make the payroll, and there's not enough money to house all its men. Now zinc-lined coffins are being built to bring soldiers home from Chechnya, and there are funerals every day in Russia. But this former army colonel fears the ultimate casualty will be democracy.
It will be remembered as one of the turning points in Russian history, that we're going to see a new Russia, which will be much less friendly, first of all, toward its own people, and maybe toward the rest of the world.
This new Russia still has a huge nuclear arsenal, and it is now in the hands of armed forces that are no longer very competent and no longer very disciplined. Tom Fenton, CBS News, Moscow.
Coming up, Eye on America. The Supreme Court considers whether affirmative action fights discrimination or causes it.
When I got rid of my gray hair, I wanted a really natural look. So I didn't take any chances. I used the sure thing for a natural look, called Just for Men.
Simply apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. It's specially timed to blend away the gray. Bring back the look of your own natural color as it conditions your hair.
With 5 minute Just for Men, this natural look is a sure thing.
5 minute Just for Men, the sure thing for a natural look.
What do people think of these Sunsweet orange and lemon essence pitted prunes?
I love lemons. So they smell like oranges. I like these a lot. Orange essence excites me. Lemon flavored prunes, they're wonderful. These are really good. What did Barbara Mandrell think?
Actually, I love them both. Tylenol has been my pain reliever for as long as I can remember. I counted on it when I was working and when I became a mom. But since I started competing in triathlons, I get aches and pains in places I never knew I had. So now I use Tylenol even more. It's my doctor's recommendation for safe, effective pain relief. She really believes in it. I count on Tylenol. I trust it.
Tylenol, the pain reliever doctors recommend and hospitals use most.
All right, let's top it off here.
The coffee perking in this pot is America's best-loved coffee.
Just as long as fathers dance with daughters. As long as there are welcome mats and childhood sweethearts. Just as long as families come together, Maxwell House will always be good to the last drop.
Hey, it's the new year. Weren't you going to eat better? You promised. Well, Total can help. It has 100% of 11 vitamins and minerals. And right now, we'll send you 5 free samples when you call 1-800-95-TOTAL. We'll take care of the first 5 days. The rest is up to you.
What can you do when children won't behave?
That's going to be a spanking.
48 Hours shows you what works to keep kids in line. Thursday.
It's no secret that many of the government programs created over the last 50 years are now being targeted for review by Congress. But in the case of affirmative action programs designed to fight job discrimination, crucial arguments will come tomorrow before the U.S. Supreme Court. It's one case among many. And there's plenty at stake in all of them, as Wyatt Andrews reports in tonight's Eye on America.
As usual, I was called into my supervisor's office. I was told that I was to be out of my office that day.
Stanley D. was once a manager supervising 250 workers at the WSSC, the water utility in suburban Maryland outside of Washington. But he was demoted that day 4 years ago for the offense of trying to hire and promote white people.
I felt under pressure to promote a minority at the expense of qualifications.
By that you mean at the expense of a more qualified white person?
That's correct.
We were asking him to hire a qualified minority. Not less, not more, not equal, a qualified minority.
The communications director at the utility, Marjorie Johnson, says Stanley D. ignored the company's affirmative action plan. This is Prince George's County, Maryland, Johnson says, one of the most affluent majority black counties in the country. The utility believes the staff here should reflect this community, even if sometimes that means preferential treatment for minorities and females.
In other words, you don't have a black professional, and you have available to you the opportunity to promote a black professional into your staff. Affirmative action would say that you give that black a shot at the job.
Discrimination cannot be used to fight discrimination.
When D. filed suit to get his old job back, he became part of a trend attacking affirmative action as legal discrimination. In a New Jersey case, a white teacher says she was fired because the school board wanted the faculty to look more black. In a Colorado case, one that brought protesters to the Supreme Court today, a white subcontractor is challenging the federal government's set-aside program, which grants favored treatment to minorities. These protesters, most of them African Americans, are out here fighting these challenges to affirmative action. They fear that the Supreme Court has grown more conservative and that affirmative action in this country is in trouble.
It's an all-out assault on affirmative action in this country.
Franklin Lee, a public interest lawyer, says affirmative action is still needed in America to break up the mostly white old boy networks. If that sometimes hurts whites, he argues they should pay the price.
We are all going to have a burden to share. Now white males are saying, well, we've been wrongly done here through affirmative action for maybe 20 or 30 years. Minorities have been sharing this burden for over 200 years now. I believe that there is an element of revenge in the policies and in the way people express these policies.
Revenge in terms of paying back the whites?
Paying back, yes, paying back for past discrimination.
D., who is Chinese American, says he is fighting for the ideal of a colorblind America. Attorney Lee argues D. is dreaming.
Minorities are being told, let's play the poker game of life. We're all equal now. There's just one slight problem, and that is that African Americans and other minorities have not been given any chips with which to play the game.
The object of the larger game is to distribute all of the stakes fairly, and that's the issue. Affirmative action was supposed to remedy discrimination, not cause it. And now the question is, has this hand been overplayed? In Laurel, Maryland, Wyatt Andrews for Eye on America.
Your legs can feel 45% smoother, your feet 40% softer.
An update from Vaseline Research.
This is no ordinary lotion. This is an alpha hydroxy lotion just for dry, flaky legs and rust-calloused feet. It fluffs away dry, dead skin cells, so your legs are beautifully smooth. Even your feet are touchably soft.
From Intensive Research comes new Vaseline Intensive Care Smooth Legs and Feet Alpha Hydroxy Lotion.
In an ordinary day, the child's bright laughter fills the air. One loving word, one loving glance, there's sunshine everywhere. Your Werther's is his Werther's too, so glistening with its golden glow, so sweet and creamy, just plain good. You're so alike, the two of you. Words and that feeling that you never will forget. When one who loves you says to you, you're someone very special to me.
Their eggs and Egg Beater's eggs both come from the same place. The biggest difference is while theirs has fat, Egg Beater's has no fat. Of course, we didn't short you on the taste. Egg Beaters, we're good eggs.
Mothers have learned from countless doctors and pharmacists to take care of coughs with Robitussin. And they've taken this advice home. Robitussin recommended by Dr. Mom. Ask your doctor or pharmacist.
When the food you love doesn't love you back, try new Maalox assorted tablets. 3 tasty flavors in one handy bottle. Maalox assorted tablets. Life is good.
A new study finds usually sunny Florida and California are still the most popular destinations for Americans who move after retiring. But their share of new retirees is falling. North Carolina, on the other hand, is gaining in popularity. Still, most retiring Americans choose to stay right where they are. There's no place like home.
And finally tonight, a twist of mystery to one of the country's great comeback stories. The American bald eagle is becoming a more common sight after decades among the most endangered wildlife. But in Arkansas, the eagle has landed in big trouble again, and no one knows why. Correspondent Scott Pelley reports from Little Rock.
Just when the national emblem appeared secure again, officials are investigating a mysterious mass killing worthy of Agatha Christie.
This is the largest eagle kill that we've ever had in the records that we have over 20 years.
A total of 24 bald eagles dead near this Arkansas lake, all of them just since November. The most recent died this morning.
There has to be a cause. We just haven't been able to find it. The worry would be that whatever it was is still there.
Investigators have sampled water, searched the shore, and found nothing. Laboratories, once confident of finding the cause, are stumped. The laboratory probe began as a criminal investigation because authorities were afraid the first birds might have been shot. But there's no evidence of trauma to any of the animals. They appear to be disease-free, and all of the usual pesticides and poisons have been ruled out.
We need to make sure that whatever is happening here doesn't spill over into the other eagle populations.
The bald eagle has been on the endangered list since 1967 when there were only 800 left in the U.S. The pesticide DDT was largely responsible. Today, the eagle population has grown to 8,000. Now, in Arkansas, investigators hope to get new clues from a sick eagle that was captured before it died. The case is now top priority at the nation's leading wildlife lab. Scientists urgently want to stop the possibility that migrating birds will spread whatever is killing the symbol of a nation. Scott Pelley, CBS News, Little Rock.
And that's our news. Tomorrow on CBS This Morning, President, peacemaker, and now poet, Jimmy Carter.
And Courtney and I will see you again tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good night.
Earthquake terror in L.A. It was a year ago that their house collapsed and